Hello, my dear friends. Happy New Year to all of you. And yeah, so a few days ago, I started with a question and answer. I posted up in a Facebook status. So I'm gonna give you the answer. Definitely, I can't give all the answer that you want to ask all the question because there's a lot of question. So on the top of that, I took this video when I was going for bicycle in Paris. So you can enjoy the view at the same time you can listen to my answer. So, because looking at my face every time, every day, every picture is a little bit boring. So I came up with this idea. I took the picture with a GoPro. So enjoy the view in Paris and I'll give you the answer at the same time. Okay, so the question is that what is the meaning of main practice? Is a Chinese name, so I do not know how to pronounce. So, what is the meaning of main practice? How can we choose to decide what kind of a practice we could and should do? Well, first of all, I think the most important part is that uh, when we say the main practice, just because that it seems important doesn't mean that it is a main practice. You know that in this 21st century we have so many information through internet, so many information from different teachers. But I think reading a history, as I mentioned before, in with a lot of people, I said that when you said that you have to practice something, something main practice, it does not have to start with like oh yeah, this is my main practice and this is my main practice. It doesn't start like that. First you practice through visualization. First you start with the full foundation preliminary practice, and then after experimenting with all the different kind of visualization practice, then you will understand what kind of a practice that you should continue. And also you should ask a question to your main teacher, and then according to his advice or her advice, then you have to continue with your own path, with your own life. And I think that is important. Okay, so the second question is uh, George, his name is George Rinpoche. How can we practice three vehicle in a simple way? Uh, Living in the city and working at job that often very natural. Sometimes I feel this time is far away from the Dharma. For instance, I have to spend many hours reading science paper, looking at experiment, to make a connection, to report about them. In those times, I feel Dharma is something my mind puts down to pick up later, which makes me a little sad. Thank you, Kalu Rimpoche. This is written by George. So I think that nobody has the perfect time to practice unless you drop everything behind and just live up in the nomad area and practice with your own, which is more like a Milarepa style. And that is not our option at the moment in the 21st century because that we have to survive, we have to support our family, we have to support our son and daughter and the loved ones. We have to support ourselves, and for that case, we are working towards our own path with our own life. We are putting a lot of effort from morning till evening. Like example, like my life as Kalu Rinpoche, from morning until evening, not everything is about the Dharma. Sometimes I get pissed off, sometimes I'm really excited with certain things. So not every time in the Kalu Rinpoche's life is very, very happy. Of course, there's a responsibility, there's a Dharma teaching, there's a Dharma practice, So we have to do whatever is necessary during our, the office life, whatever you need to do, you have to do it. Because the time really doesn't matter. It makes the difference when you practice the Dharma with a more clarity state of mind. Because many people they believe that they have to spend a lot of time doing a Dharma practice. Spending a lot of time doing a Dharma practice is not really the only way. Well, that is the one way of doing a practice. But doing the Dharma practice means you have to practice the Dharma with appreciation, realizing the value of the Dharma, recognizing your own state of mind, and meditating with more clarity, practicing Dharma with more clarity, with less feeling of obligation, and then slowly, slowly, your state of mind and your quality of spiritual Dharma path will improve naturally. Okay, so the next question is uh, thank you very much, Kalu Rinpoche. My question is that how to control our own mind? Well, it's very simple, Nobody can control our mind. We cannot control our own mind without some kind of a spiritual Dharma practice. So, why we are practicing Dharma? Not because we want to see the Buddha, not because that we want to become like a Buddha. We are practicing, we are practicing the Dharma. We are practicing ourselves with the truth based on the Buddha's teaching, so that we can find a clarity in mind, so that we can benefit others with love and respect. And I think that, controlling our mind is not really an easy option. First we have to bring some quality in mind. We have to put effort in our practice. And then after a while, when you practice step by step, and when you realize the reality through your wisdom, through your practice, and when you realize the truth, the real cause of the suffering, then naturally, with your wisdom, you will be uh, able to adjust with your own mind. Then, of course, everything will be fine. Well, not the best answer from my point of view. Ah, okay. So, when you realize that you have committed negative action, uh, how to purify, how to, when you realize that you have committed negative action, aside from the feeling intense remorse, is there anything more that we can do on the spot to purify our action? Well, nobody can, actually we cannot purify uh, our action on the spot immediately without some spiritual Dharma quality. That's why we need the Dharma practice, because many people, we think that, oh, we need a Dharma practice to bring the ultimate happiness. We focus very much into that, oh yeah, I want to become enlightenment, I want to become Bodhisattva, I want to benefit all sentient beings. But we have to recognize that that our effort has to start from the very beginning. We have to start with something very basic. So and then the next question is that Rinpoche, in the Shampa path, what is the most common Guru Yoga practice? And my answer to that, Scott missed. That's the person who's asking the question. And answer to you and to everyone is that we the problem is that we often ask ourselves that our teach some of our instructor, the Dharma instructor, always tells us that oh yeah, you need to have a devotion, you need to have a devotion, you need to have a devotion. But we have to realize that that is the first step of our own mistake. When you have a feeling of obligation to have a devotion if you want to practice Dharma. And that is the first problem, because you cannot have a devotion just by doing a Guru Yoga practice. First, you have to study the history of all the great different teachers. You have to be inspired by them. You have to be motivated by them. And then after a while, when you practice your Dharma with the meditation, with the visualization, then after that, the true devotion will come to you from your heart, naturally, openly, with your wisdom. And that is our Guru Yoga practice, because you cannot just pray and increase our devotion, because that is our problem. We always push ourselves into something that we are not ready of. So that's why being aware of our own spiritual path and taking our own time according to our Dharma instructor. So it's really important to take it slow and practice Dharma study the history of all the great different teachers, and then finally, once you'll be motivated and touched by the example, and then the true meaning of devotion will be there naturally. So that is our Guru Yoga practice. That's what I think. And then the next person is that Rosemary. Rosemary, she is asking a question. Dear Rinpoche, I request that you explain Samaya. Thank you for your kindness. So it's asking about the Samaya. So basically, the Samaya is a commitment. It's not really a dangerous commitment at all. Actually, you're just making a promise that you will make your own improvement towards your own Dharma practice and towards your own teacher and towards your own self, that you'll be more aware of your own action. So that's it. Samaya is not a law. That's the problem. Many people, they view the Samaya as a kind of a law, kind of a law that you should not break. You are free to break any law as you want in Buddhism, because you have a life by yourself. You have to live your life by yourself, so nobody can judge you. Even Buddha cannot judge you. You have a free to live your life, do whatever you want. But if you want to be careful with your actions towards your Dharma practice, if you really want to improve, you have to be careful. And to be careful, we are just taking a promise. As simple as that. It's not a law. So feel free to take any Samaya as you want, but make sure you're careful with your own footstep. So, and then the last question, Shemo Tibetan Westlife. I do meditation sometimes, and my friends laugh at me, and when I share with them, so should I continue la? Does not practicing of the Dharma and meditation come from between the modernization and civilization? Whatever when we practice, when we practice Dharma, it's important to isolate ourselves in a private room. Like example, like I'm sure you have a friend and family and place to live. So, when you want to practice, try to go to the park, try to go in a garden, and try to go to the backyard, try to do a meditation over there. Don't try to do practice in the front of many people or the people that the people that you feel comfortable with, because they will judge you, they will say things to you that will make you uncomfortable. So to make yourself comfortable in your own spiritual Dharma path, try to give a privacy to yourself, give a quiet time to yourself. Then the benefit of the meditation towards your own life, towards your own daily life will come naturally right there. Okay. So that's it, my dear friends. And okay, there's one last question. Many people ask question on how to come to Buddhism. There is no such path as how to come to Buddhism, my dear. And that person is Kath Diaville. That's her name. So, when you just approach towards Buddhism, you're free to approach, you're free to study anything you like towards the Buddhism, you're free to read books, anything you like. But when you start to practice, then that's the different chapter. But, when you want to become a Buddhism, when you want to be approached towards the Buddhism, you have to, don't hurry yourself to meet a great teacher. First, read many books, be confused time to time, because that's good for you. And then after a while, when you read more and more books, and when you try to do a little bit of meditation here and there, and then when you find the real meaning, then you will realize by yourself what is the really meaningful to yourself in your Dharma path. So, tell them that, you don't have to make any kind of obligation from your side. Feel free to study Buddhism and Dharma. But on the top of that, when it comes to practice, make sure what you're practicing is helpful to yourself. So that's it, my dear friends, and it's already very long, and I wish you all a good day, and then lots of love and care and respect to all of you. And if I said anything wrong, I truly apologize. And I hope that you enjoy the view in Paris. And this is nearby Châtelet. And yeah, so it was a very sunny day. So I hope you enjoy the weather also. So maybe in the future I will post similar video like this so you can enjoy the view and listen to my voice. And yeah, thank you very much from your Kalu Rimpoche. Bye bye.